fucking boat raced by freaking God, who smoked them? Is it Albany? Albany's the one who ends up smoking them. So, yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but we're gonna do the P5 games. There's a lot of really good ones out there now. It's a really good weekend. We obviously have the weird, random Michigan Duke game. We'll get to that one later. Obviously, Houston, Arizona, but there's some other gems mixed in there as well. So we'll get to all of them. We're gonna start off with a bang here, sort of, if you want to call it a bang. Florida State is getting 9.5 points on the road at Clemson, over under 143.5, plus 375 on the money line for the Seminoles. This line is still current. Okay. So Clemson, was sitting really pretty. They were 20-4 in the season. They were 10-1 in ACC play until they dropped 3 straight. Virginia Tech one was a real head scratcher. No shame against losing to Duke, but you did get the cover for us. Thank you, Clemson, right by the hook. And then the smelly of smelly lines on, what was that, Wednesday against Wake Forest. They were 3.5-point underdogs or favorites on the road in Wake, and everybody and their mom, including myself being a fucking idiot, took it, and they dressed it up at the end, but it just eventually did not get home. I kind of like Florida State. I've kind of been on this Florida State team for probably the last 3 weeks, and they've been nothing but good to me. Have they covered? I wonder if they've covered their last. Because I can't tell you the last time they haven't covered for me. Now this is going to be the closing line back. Yeah, they've covered 4 or 5 for me, so it's not bad, because I feel like I've been on them basically every single week. And they haven't really lost. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 6 out of 8. The 2 losses are Virginia and SMU. And I mean, people call me crazy for betting Virginia Tech or them against Virginia Tech, and they boat raced them. I think everybody's going to think this is the drill spot for Clemson after, coming off a 3-game losing streak. But I just like the way Luke Locks and Florida State's playing right now. I'm going to wait and hold because I do think we might get a better number at the end here. But I will lock up this 9.5 for the show. Turn that down. We're going to hope we get a little bit of a better number later on. Let's move it on. We're going to stay in the ACC as we go in order here. Wake Forest getting 4.5 points on the road at Virginia Tech. 150.5 is the total. Plus 175 on the money line for the Demon Deacons in the team that, again, is probably the hardest to figure out in the sport. I can never figure out Wake Forest. Virginia Tech is slowly getting to that level. Wake coming off 3-game winning streak, under Steve Forbes. Is Steve Forbes going to find a way to get to the bubble? We should rename the bubble the Steve Forbes zone. Because, I mean, how many years? Is probably, year 4 in Winston-Salem, and they've been on the bubble. They're on the wrong side of the bubble, unfortunately for them, all 4 years. And sorry, it was a long day, man. I needed some Red Bull. The sugar-free one, only 20 calories. Tastes pretty good. Nothing incredible, but gotta watch some calories. Now, Virginia Tech, last time I looked, was still flirting with the bubble. They have them as the next 4 out. Now, for one, I need y'all to stop just quoting Lenardi for everything. Joe Lenardi is not ranked in the top 100 bracket matrix. He is not a good bracketologist. He just happens to be the name that everybody follows. But guy really doesn't come close to being any good. There's literally 100, at least, I don't know the exact number, at least 100 bracketologists better than him. So let's quit going to Lenardi. Let's get a Velo in there. Nice nicotine pouch here. And I mean, dude, wait, Virginia Tech needs this game like water. But man, I cannot. fucking trust this team. They've lost 4 or 5. Including 2 at home. In games they have really not been competitive in. Outside of that, and then like random mixed in game with Clemson as well. I mean, North Carolina on deck. To me, it's just too many points. There's 2 teams here I can't figure out, so I do not want to lock any of this up. But I'll take the points with the Demon Deacons, but no bet here. Next, we got the North Carolina Tar Heroes are laying 2.5 points on the road at Syracuse, 152.5 total. Plus 136 seems to be the best number you can get out there for the Orangemen. North Carolina, post Caleb Williams injury, got smoked by NC State on the road. And then obviously the big one against Pitt, but I mean, it's Pitt. I mean, who isn't beating Pitt? Kazicha Pitt. This number actually opened at 3.5 and shot down. Syracuse kind of frisky. Surprised they're not on the bubble a little bit more. If they could have just fucking found a way to beat Houston in that overtime game in Vegas, like they would be right here and right to have a shot. So my angle is here. Is North Carolina, I think, needs this get-right game a little bit better than Syracuse. Syracuse is coming off Duke. There's 2 sides of this. The too cute play would be taking the points with the Orangemen. It's the fake sharp play. But also, I just don't want to bet North Carolina. I think it's going to be so public. This line already got bet down by Sharp. I don't want to be on the public side of the public favorite on the road. And I don't trust this North Carolina team post Caleb Wilson injury. So I will take the 2.5 at Syracuse, but this will be a no bet for me. Virginia getting 8.5 points at Virginia. Jai Lucas in year 1, man, has done an incredible job. Miami is now sitting at what? 21-5 in year 1 after just being an absolute disaster for the last 3 seasons? Probably. And their only losses are Florida, BYU with the healthy Richie Saunders, Clemson when they were playing well. The Florida State one, Florida State's fucking beat some good teams, man. And then that weird one to Cal. That Cal one I can't really figure out. But, man, they beat NC State in a game they probably should have. They beat up on North Carolina. Like, they have some halfway decent wins. But now they're playing a Virginia team and Ryan Odom that's quietly 23-3, getting disrespected by the so-called bracketologists out there. And this team's won, what, 6 in a row? 7 in a row, sorry. Who's won 7 in a row? And they just, dude, they were up on Virginia Tech. What was it? It was literally like 41-9. I tweeted out something like, stop the cowband. This is getting utterly insane. What was the actual number? Because I know it was something crazy. They were beating Georgia Tech 42-9. Jesus fucking Christ. So I was even short on that one. Doesn't this seem kind of low? Or like the number, I mean, the number's too high for Miami. I was thinking this was going to be like a 6.5 point spread. Now you're telling me it's an 8.5? But if you look at the other side of it, I mean, Virginia at home has kind of been a wagon. I mean, they destroyed Pitt, destroyed Syracuse by this number. They beat Stanford by 15. They have not had a game at home that's been in the single digits since December 20th against Maryland of all teams. An old ACC rivalry. I kind of want to lay with the Hoos. I think Miami's been riding a little hot, but I do think this number might drop just a little bit. Nah, screw it. Everybody's going to be on Miami. They think, they'll look at that record and see how well they've been playing as of late. I think the number's high for a reason. Vegas is telling you to lay the 8.5. They're basically begging for it. I'm going to hold out. Hopefully we can get a 7.5. Maybe we can get a 6.5. But for now, I will lock up Virginia minus 8.5. So there's an 8. Use Prime Sportsbook in Ohio. There is an 8. So we're going to take that 8. Next, we have a shitty game of the day. Notre Dame's getting 2.5 points on the road at Pitt. Eat shit Pitt. Plus 125 on the money line for the Fighting Irish. I don't want to bet. You won't talk me into betting this one. This would be a game that I would try to talk Connor into betting, and then we'd end up fighting on just to kind of piss him off. But, I mean, Notre Dame's 3-10. Oh, this might have implications, actually. Hold on a second. This game's going to have implications. For a 3-10 ACC team versus a 2-11 ACC team. Excuse me. The ACC still does that dumb shit when they got it. For one, it's dumb we have 18 teams in a conference. But only 15 make the conference tournament. And Notre Dame's got a 1-game lead over Pitt for that 15th spot in the ACC tournament. Now, if you're a Pitt fan, I don't think you even really care. I think you're one to get to the finish line. Get Capel out, figure out what's going to happen in the offseason, get the right guy in there. You probably won't. You always be little brother. I kind of want to bet Pitt. As gross as it is this the lowest we can get? 2.5 the lowest. No, we can get a 1.5 out there. You can get a minus 140 on the money line. It's the Bet the Jeep podcast. We bet those sometimes. I don't lay the 1.5. That's the rule. Take the 1.5. Do not lay the 1.5. As gross as it is, I'm going to bet Pitt. But I can't. I'm going to lock up Pitt, actually. But I can't play the music. I refuse to pay the music for Pitt. It's just not going to happen. So, let's move on to the next game. Georgia Tech getting 23.5 points on the road at Louisville. 163.5 is the total. 25-1 on the money line for the Yellow Jackets. Holy shit. What an ass beating that was the other day. That is a big number. You know what they say with favorites, man? Especially in this sport, you wait if you want the dog. And I'm probably going to take the dog. Yep, we're going in. I'm going to hold off. I think we can get a better number out there, but I pick the numbers that they are for right now, and I still like it. I'm going to lock up Georgia Tech plus 23.5. That was an embarrassing performance at home in your home gym. I think David Stoudemire gets the guys fired up. Have some pride kind of game. And Louisville is at home. No, they're going to North Carolina on Monday. It's a clear look-ahead spot here. Georgia Tech's got scholarships too, man. That was an embarrassing performance the other night. This is just have some fucking pride game. I think Stoudemire is enough of a player's coach that they'll rally around it and find a way to figure this out. Louisville wins by 19. Lock up Jackets. I do think if you wait, though, you probably get a better number out there. Especially after everybody saw what they did to Virginia. I think you'll get a good number. Boston College getting 16.5 points on the road at SMU. Plus 1,100 on the money line for the Golden Eagles. SMU is kind of... They potentially flirting with that bubble a little bit. But I don't know. I think typically SMU kind of takes care of the little guys in the ACC. It's when they jump up in competition is when they have problems. I mean, they've basically taken care of everybody they're supposed to, and then anybody that's a step up in competition is kind of taking care of them. So I would probably be willing to lay this with SMU, and I think they win comfortably, but I don't have a feel for it at all. So I'll stay away from this one. The band is on the field. Stanford getting 2.5 points on the road at Cal. 147 is the total, plus 126 on the money line for the Stanford Cardinal. Both bubble teams, and this one has some real implications here. I think loser's 100% done. I think Stanford's probably already done, but loser is clearly going to have to win the ACC tournament. if they want any chance of making the tournament. Stanford away from home, now this isn't a far travel, has been rough. Not won a lot of road games this season. They did beat Boston College, but everybody beats Boston College. But, they kept it close against Miami, but ultimately lost. And Miami and Cal aren't too crazy off of each other. They lost to Florida State by 8. I'm not a giant fan of them at home or on the road at all. And on the other side, Cal has been pretty good at home. What did they do last year? I can't remember what happened last year with these two teams. So, did Cal lose all 3? Yeah, Cal lost Matson lost all 3 games, but that was a really bad Cal team. They lost all 3 games to Stanford. Yeah, we'll go in. I'm going in on Cal. It's a revenge spot here. They figured out this Cal team's a little more improved. Keep that NCAA tournament hope. Does look like that is the best we're going to get here. Now, the big one. Michigan is laying 2.5 points against Duke. I can't remember where this game is being played. I have no idea. Actually, I have not looked this up. This is in Washington, D.C. So I'm assuming, I think Michigan fans will travel. I really do. I don't think the travel spot's gonna be anything for Michigan. They'll be there. But it will be. It'll be a decent. It's probably gonna be a pretty decent Duke crowd. But I think Michigan fans will travel. It's not gonna be anything insane. This line actually opened at 1.5. So Vegas is kind of giving Duke the Duke treatment. Is it that easy? Like, I know the line's going to be a little weird because it is Duke, and Duke gets, the Cowboy treatment, the Celtics treatment, and basically anybody else in between. That's, one of the premier programs, teams, whatever, that the public loves to bet on. Michigan's really fucking good. Yeah, that's what I want to get kind of addressed too. Is everybody thinks I'm just so anti-Michigan, and I'm just so low on them, and it's just hatred. The reason why I'm not like drooling over them. It's not that I don't think they can't win the national title. I do not think. I think they're probably the 3rd best team in the country. I do not think they're 1. I do not think they're 2. I also really don't. I'm not in love with the guards. And you have to have a elite guard play and elite point guard play to win the national title. And I'm not saying that they can't win the national title. They 100% could. They're the odds-on favorite. It's everybody in the world, and respectable people in the college basketball world that I really respect too, are treating them like they're, minus 250 to win the national title in the fields plus money. And it's just like, no. Like, someone had the idea, like, if they beat Duke this weekend, they're probably going to be, I don't know, plus 250 to win the national title. And I think it's insane. In a tournament setting where it's literally the hardest tournament in any major sport to win the national title, plus 250 I think is just absolutely ludicrous. Ludicrous. I would I like bet the field. Like, I don't like laying that much juice, but like the field to me is a lock. Especially for me, because I don't even think they're the best team in the country. I still think Houston's the best team in the country. The second best team is probably Iowa State. I had UConn up in there for a long time. That's not looking so hot anymore. I think they'll be fine, but Florida's playing really well. Like, I would put Florida right there with Michigan. I don't know. The people that act like it's minus 200 seems crazy. But after I shit on the entire time here, it seems too easy to me. Michigan's got, it's the most of the teams, it's a veteran group. Like, how many guys on this? Like, they're all upperclassmen. Duke's led by Cam Boozer, and as electric and just amazing he is, he's still a freshman. Like, the big man, Patrick, I can never pronounce his name right. He's, a sophomore. He's been there. Isaiah Evans is a sophomore, but they're still relatively young. Dame Sarr's a freshman. Like, this is a young group. This is a giant spot with the entire country watching on here. Now, I would love nothing more for Duke to beat this team. But I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Michigan. I think they're the better team. I still have a lot of questions about this Duke team, and it just seems a little too easy for me. So I'm going to stay off of this one. I'm going to have no bet in this contest, but I do think Michigan takes care of business. I think they probably win by 7 or 8. Let's go to the best conference in the sport. Cincinnati is getting 11.5 points on the road at Kansas. What's Darren Peterson going to do? I don't think anybody knows. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. After he hit that shot against Oklahoma State and then checked himself out of the game, like that is a tough look, especially when everybody saw it. There's the rumors about his NIL deal, like getting him, is he allowed to like actually check himself out of the game? Like I don't know if those rumors are true. I don't know anything. My dog's being really adorable right now. I'm trying to record bugs, but you're good. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Make sure to adopt. Do not shop. Or little pretty pit bulls like this one are going to be locked in cages forever, maybe euthanized. I know everybody wants the puppy, but if you can make it and you can adopt, just do it. It's so much. It's so worth it. Or take one in. Like that's how we got her. She was my cousin found her in a dumpster at an apartment complex when she was probably around 7 weeks old. She's all white with blue eyes, so most likely she's deaf. Probably why somebody threw her out. And then like she's changed my life. She's been there through some really hard times. So she's my best friend. Aren't you, little girl? I'd pick her up and show her, but she's a jack little thing. I think my dog could probably play more minutes in a college basketball game than Darren Peterson at this point. It's getting kind of laughable. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. It really makes me want to take Cincinnati, but I am scared as hell of that Fog Allen Fieldhouse. This Kansas so far this year, I believe their ATS thing's kind of crazy at home. Yes, they are 10 and what is that? 10-4 at home ATS. But this line is rather large. Let's like Cincinnati. Wes Miller's a dead man walking. We all know that. We all know that. I mean, if you're listening to the show, like how high I was on Wes Miller and this hire, I loved him at UNC Greensboro. I think he's I still think he's a good coach. I just think the situation really didn't work out well for him. But I mean, Cincinnati's won 3 in a row. I mean, that win over UCF was good. I know the other was Kansas State. I think they fight, and I think they keep it under this number, but I am way too scared of Fog Allen to actually lock this one up. So I'm going to take the points with the Bearcats. You can probably wait and get a better number, too, with this one, but no lock. Kansas State getting 16.5 points in Lubbock. Obviously, everybody knows by now, JT Toppin, done for the season, torn ACL. It sucks because I really thought there was a shot that Texas Tech legit could have won a national title. They had the best 1-2 punch in the country with Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. Graham McCasland, one of the best 15-10 coaches in the country, just really hasn't won that big one yet to really, solidify himself in like the top portions of the coaching ranks. United States with a win against I don't even remember who they played, but they're playing Canada in the gold. It's the only time I really care about hockey is when the United States is playing, but it's a good win for them. Now, for Kansas State on the flip side, they did blow out Baylor. Now, what do we know about Baylor? Baylor is really bad this year, and Cody is not allowed to bet Baylor no more. I faded them. I hit on Kansas State. They won the game outright. They already got the 1-game bump. So now this is the post-1-game bump versus the 1-game bump with Texas Tech. But, dude, 16.5 is just too many points. I believe in the bump. I really do believe in the bump. But the problem is, man, Texas Tech isn't deep, dude. They play I'd be interested to see how many minutes that like six guys play. They might play six, seven deep. Don't. Thank God there's no kids watching right now. They play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, dude, they have a couple guys that play 9. I mean, they don't play very many dudes, man. They're already thin, and now your best player and best rim protector, your best offensive rebounder, your best defensive rebounder, your best front court defender is hurt. Kansas State's still got guys. I don't think that 11-1 on the money line is that insane. Like, Kansas State's really talented. They just were not, like, Jerome Tang wasn't it. And now you're taking off the best player on a Texas Tech team. As much as I hate fading the one-game bump, it's just too many, man. It's going to be a lot for McCaslin to overcome this JT Toppin injury. I would sprinkle a little bit on that 11-1 on the money line for Kansas State, but more importantly, I love the 16.5 for them. I'm going to lock up the Kansas State Wildcats. Let's get them. Next up, we got probably the game of the day. Arizona is getting 5.5 points at Houston. So open at 4.5. It's already jumped. You can still get a 4.5 out there if you are going to be on the Houston Cougars. So, man, I've already locked that up twice. Okay, let's definitely not bet that again. No Koa Pete for Arizona. That has already been announced. He is out. Houston coming off the loss to Iowa State on Monday in one of the best games of the day. I still don't know how they didn't cover that 2.5. You got to get that rebound. You can't. As much as I love Tamian Lipsey, you got to be able to block him out. Now, question here for Houston is: are you able to neutralize this front court that Arizona has? You're going to have a big game from JoJo Tugler here. Chris Sinak is going to have to not play like a freshman. This is big boy ball. You're going to have to step up here and play. I just think the real advantage is the guards with Milo Uzan and Kingston Flemings. He is just utterly fucking incredible. That dude has done some things with the basketball that I have not seen very much of in the NBA. Not that I watch the NBA, but you see the highlights and I'm like, that's an NBA move. That's an NBA player. I really think he should be in the consideration for top pick. I'm not saying he should be, but it should be at least in the conversation. At worst, the 5th pick overall. But those guys are tenacious defensively. And I know Jaden Bradley is, kind of a veteran guard. He's been around the block a time or two. But Brandon Burries hasn't. And I think they frustrate him. I think Houston is just so incredible at home. The tenacity that they play with, I think, is going to give Arizona some problems. And you kind of saw it with against Texas Tech. Like, Texas Tech just out physical to Arizona. And Houston is the ultimate physicality team. I think they punch Arizona in the mouth here, and I think we're starting to get to Tommy Lloyd season. I'm going to lock up the Cougars minus 4.5. I think they actually win this thing kind of comfortably. I honestly think maybe an alt line could be in play. Not. Arizona is desperate. I understand that. So they give the best again. Let's move on here. Next up we got Oklahoma State getting 3.5 points in Boulder against Colorado. 163.5 total plus 146 on the money line for the Pokes. It's kind of a low total. Oklahoma State basically was on the edge of making the NCAA tournament. Lost 4 in a row. This is the most desperate spot they're going to need all season. But, man, they have not won very many away games. They have beat Utah, and that's about it. And I actually don't hate Colorado and Boulder. I actually don't think Colorado's 4-9 in the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 is the best league in the country. Like, it's nothing to be crazy ashamed of. I actually don't hate this Tad Boyle team. I actually think they're kind of fun. I think they can be chippy. But making them a 3.5-point favorite, no, thank you. I'll take the 3, but no bet. Man, it's only me here, and I'm talking way more than I do when Connor was on here. Arizona State getting 5.5 points on the road at Baylor. 156.5 total, plus 230 on the money line for the Sun Devils. I can't bet Baylor. I have banned myself from betting Baylor. This line actually opened at 6.5. It's dropped a point already. Which, I mean, who the hell at, 2 o'clock on a Friday is rushing to bet Arizona State? Especially on the road at Baylor. They used to hold a little bit of weight, but unfortunately does not anymore. I mean, Arizona State has won 2 in a row. Grant Toppin did get hurt in the Tech game. Those are both at home. I hate Arizona State. But I can't bet this game. I'm not allowed to bet this game. Baylor's fucked me too many times. Low-key, Arizona State has a little bit to a degree, too. So, I'm going to stay away. I think I would lean towards the Sun Devils, but no lock. Oh, what kind of game we got here, baby?
God bless the Mountaineers, and God bless West Virginia. Town you'll always be, home sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, WV.
I'm dying in this fucking country-ass, fucked up town.
The Mountaineers, greatest team in the country, who somehow lost to fucking Utah at home and basically destroyed their NCAA tournament chances unless they can win this game here, is getting 5.5 points on the road at TCU. Plus, ignore that plus 220 for TCU. It's plus 225 on the money line for the Mountaineers. Now, this could be a Ross Hodge back against the wall game. And yeah, I love those spots for him. West Virginia's a weird team. When they locked down defensively against Utah, they were dominant. Problem was, you got down 21-3. Now, I'm not a head coach by any means. And I'm sure Ross Hodge knows way more about basketball than me. I know he knows way more about basketball than me. But, dude, we got to... As a fan base, we got to talk about the shot selection of Hunter Huff. I love Hunter Huff. He's an incredible shooter and he's a good defender, especially for being a little undersized. But, dude, you do not have to shoot every 3 in crunch time. You have other guys out there. Chance Moore can knock down shots. Tracy Eaglestaff can knock down shots. There's plenty of other guys to move the ball to. You can get some dribble action, kick out. You can run off a screen and maybe get the ball back. But you don't have to do some isolation step back 3 against a 6'8" guy just to get blocked. His shot selection just drives me fucking insane. But I'll tell you what here. Make sure this line is the same. It is still a 5.5. That is the best number we can get out there. Looks like it's on the verge of getting to 6.5. It's only minus 105. Now, you guys got to bear with me here. Because this might be... I mean, it's not might. It's not might be. It's 1,000% is me just being biased. To a degree. I did call it the UCF one, even though I think it was a little fluky. But TCU's really good in that home building. But, man, with Ross Hodge with the back against the wall, I'm going to take the 5.5 with the Mountaineers. And I'm going to do one better. I think West Virginia goes in to Fort Worth and wins this game on the fucking money line. Let's go Mountaineers.
Morgantown, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, WV.
Now, again, I am a West Virginia fan, so take all of that with a grain of salt, but I do actually really like the spot for the Mountaineers. Speaking of UCF, they're laying 2.5 points on the road at Utah. I thought they already played at Utah. I'm going to make sure that's right. They did not. It's a long way from Orlando to Logan. And Utah is coming off... Oh, fuck. No. Okay. Oregon. Never mind. Not even going to address it. Utah's coming off of fucking their first road win of the season. there's never a look ahead for either one. I mean, UCF's not really going to look ahead to BYU, especially now with the injuries. The number's really small, but I'll lay with UCF. I mean, they're now like officially on the bubble for some reason. I really don't. I'm still kind of confused with the bubble situation. Why the Big 12 gets so ridiculed. It's the best conference in the country, and they're just getting no respect. Some of the ACC teams that are in, fucking Auburn, the shit the SEC pulled with the Charles Bediako bullshit, where A&M and Auburn aren't getting hurt for the games. They're like, that game, we're going to overlook that game that Charles Bediako played in. But we're also not going to count that as a loss for Alabama. So not only does Alabama get to keep their wins, two of the other SEC teams that are floating with the bubble now get losses taken off. Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
You know, if you believe that, I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die.
To the late spot, 10:30 tip, Iowa State is headed to Provo. Take on our Fighting.
I am your host, Lisa Ann.
Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Dum 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 dum. He started the Mormon religion. Dum 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 dum.
Clones laying 3.5, 155.5 is the total. Plus 154 on the money line for the Cougars. Obviously, Richie Saunders announced out for the season. Torn ACL. It's the end of his college career, which is really unfortunate because he was really one of my favorite players to watch. Yeah, that one sucks. Like, as a guy that's been following him his whole career in Provo, I really hated to see that. And I think we all did as college basketball fans, because I think BYU had a legit chance to have like a, maybe an Elite Eight run, maybe a Final Four run. I think as good as DeBonta is, like, as good as Wright is, I think Kevin Young's a really good coach. I just don't see the path anymore for them to really have a realistic chance of being a Final Four team. But, I mean, here's a spot for you. Iowa State is coming off of wins against Kansas and a win against Houston in Hilton. Now they have to go to Provo, Utah, to take on a BYU team who just lost to Arizona, who everybody has written off in one of the most underrated gyms and home court advantages in the sport. Yeah. Cougars are winning this game outright, man. 1,000% winning this game outright. And you can get a 4.5 out there. So let's take that 4.5 with the Cougars. We're also going to bet on that fucking money line. Let's go Cougs. I think the Cougs rally around the injury of Richie Saunders. They have the home crowd behind them. Iowa State coming off two of the best wins of the season, two of the best wins in program history. I think it's a clear spot where they get tripped up here. This is almost like a scheduled loss for the Clones. I'm going to lock up BYU. Let's go Cougs. I think the Big East is next here. One of my favorite conferences in the sport. It might be my favorite, to be honest with you, as much as I do love my Big 12. The Big East is, when I think of basketball, I don't know about you. Like, everybody's got kind of the one that, really means something to them. But when I think of basketball, I always think of the Big East. Now, most of it's the classic Big East, but there's some schools still in there. Be sick if they still had it, but it is what it is. I'm just hoping UConn stays in the Big East for as long as possible, because when that happens, I don't know what's going to happen to the sport. Because I think there's more conferences that make sense for Creighton and Butler, and it's just going to, don't kill the Big East, please. Creighton getting 13.5 points on the road at St. John's, 153.5 total, 6-1 on the money line for the Blue Jays, who just went in to Stores and knocked off UConn. Yes, we were on the 17.5. For sure. Pretty sure that was in one of the videos we did. But I didn't know they were going to go in there and win by almost double digits. What a fucking win for Greg McDermott. Like, Creighton's got guys. It's just they haven't been able to put it all together in the post Kalkbrenner, Ashworth, Shireman, whoever Kaluma, who was the other one, Trey Alexander. I mean, they've been gone for a couple years, but like they haven't been able to put it together as a collective yet. But I do think they're still really well coached, and whenever McDermott does call it a career, Alan Huss, the old High Point coach, is the associate head coach, and he will be taking over. I think Creighton's not going anywhere. And that is a great win to start all that. Why is this number 13.5? Did they not just watch the game the other night? It's got to be because, I mean, St. John's is really good. St. John's has turned a corner, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, St. John's, do they have UConn coming up? Or is that the last game of the year? They might have made it the last game. They didn't. It is. They do have the look. I mean, it's a clear look ahead spot, too. Like, Wednesday is basically, and UConn's now dropped 2. So UConn's 14-2. St. John's is in first place at 14-1. They go 2 stores on Wednesday. I think Creighton's playing some good basketball here, and with the clear look ahead spot, I mean, there's nothing we have to lock up Creighton. It's just, it makes too much sense here. And you know what? If St. John's goes in there and just absolutely drills Creighton, I'd bet it again tomorrow. The spot's there. The spot's perfect. Good bet. Let's move along. Let's go to Butler. Xavier's headed to Butler, plus 2.5. 158 is the total, plus 136 for the Musketeers on the money line. Butler just went on the road and waxed my Hoyas. I don't know what's going on with my Hoyas. Thought they were turning a corner there, but they snapped a nice little losing streak there. Xavier, on the other end, also played Villanova. Played Villanova really tough. Took them to overtime on the road at home. Xavier's a team that I think is a lot better than the record. 13-13 overall, 5-10. But all their games, man, the 1 loss to Creighton, 1 point loss to Creighton on the road, lost by 5 to St. John's at home. They did get kind of fucked up by Seton Hall. That game was a lot closer than that score, though. To beat DePaul, UConn is UConn. Took care of business. That was still when they were rolling. Took St. John's to overtime, beat Marquette, and then they just had that overtime loss against Villanova. I think Xavier's the move here, but, I mean, this is both bottom tier of the Big East. I don't really know if I really want to have a play on this one, but, I mean, my hunch says take the Musketeers with the points, but we're going to steer clear of this one. Can't lock every game. UConn laying 2.5 points on the road against Villanova. 140 is the total, plus 122 on the money line for the Wildcats. I mean, just seems like a UConn drill spot, right? Coming off the big... It's a tough spot, though, because you have St. John's on deck. And, I mean, that St. John's game kind of becomes... I think Hurley will have them focused, though, because you lose this one, the St. John's game kind of means nothing. The only thing it means is Dan Hurley and Rick Pitino can just continue to go at it with each other, because those two dudes do not like each other. It's pretty blatant. Villanova's been underrated, man, and they've been really good at home all season long. 21-5 in year 1 of Kevin Willard. They have been what have they ATS? They're 8-6 ATS at home, straight up at home. They're 12-2. Like, what I thought with UConn, more than anything, was they're playing with their food a little bit in a down year in the Big East. That was my excuse for them the whole time, because it seemed like when they were out in non-con, they were having no problems going up against the big boys. Probably should have beat Arizona earlier in the season. Kind of struggled, or they had a couple injuries in that game that kind of let that game slip away. I don't know, man. I think they're actually just not playing well. And I don't know what it is. Hurley told the ref he'll see him in hell after they lost to Creighton. It's like, dude, you're 17-point dogs. Like, the refs, yeah, they might have had a couple bad calls in that game, but, like, you were a 17-point favorite. Like, you should be winning those games comfortably. I will say, I think I've completely turned. I think I love Dan Hurley again. He's just getting so funny, and he just continues to not stop or give a fuck what anybody says. He just continues to speak his mind and just act like a complete toddler out there. And he's embraced it, and I love it. And even if you like, it was like a nice like Belker. Love Dan Hurley. The antics started getting a little fucking out of control, and I couldn't do it. I hit this point here. But then it got so annoying, so childish, I started to love him again because it's just perfect. And it, like, legit, if you love him or hate him, like, he's an amazing thing for college basketball. Everybody needs a villain, and he plays it so perfectly. To this game, I'm kind of dancing around this one because I do not want to pick it because I really don't have a side because I haven't really picked the big games, man. There's a lot of spots I like this weekend, but it's really not in the big one. I'm going to lay it with UConn. I think UConn's the better team. I think they settle back in and get, pump the brakes on Villanova being back here. But with St. John's on deck and with them struggling right now, I do not want to lock it up. Which is weird because typically the Big East is where I lock every game. Georgetown go on the road at Seton Hall. 5.5-point underdogs. 135.5 is the total, plus 205 on the money line for my Hoyas. After they were playing really well, they've just kind of came back to what they are. They're not good. I hope Cooley doesn't get fired. I hope they give him one more year. I'm hoping they can build some momentum heading into the Big East tournament, and it would start right here. But Seton Hall is, after dropping that game to DePaul, I think it's done. I would be really shocked if they have any chance of making the NCAA tournament now. Like, you're 8-8 in a bad Big East. I think it's cooked. But I do know one thing. I do think they can win the Big East tournament. I do not think they are going to quit on Holloway. That's not going to happen. I think they play really hard for him here. And Georgetown on the road all year has struggled. They did get a couple, but it was the Cooley game against Providence and then the weird Butler game. ATS-wise, they're actually not bad ATS-wise on the road. And Seton Hall has actually weirdly been a lot better on the road than they have ATS-wise, at least, than they have at home. And kind of even with on the money line, too. They've actually been kind of frisky on the road. I like the Hoyas here. I like them to keep it close, but no bet. I'm not seeing the Big East board this weekend, dude. I don't love the Big East board. All right, we're not at the building at least. Still got my Friars shirt on, though. Providence getting 1.5 points on the road at DePaul. DePaul, their total 154.5 plus 115 for the Friars. I don't want to bet DePaul. Dude, I haven't bet on DePaul all season. But fucking St. John's one and only road win in Big East play was that weird one they won on January 3rd against St. John's. But can anybody make me bet DePaul? Like, I don't think so. I can't get there. Chris Holtmann has done an incredible job. Like, they're 6-9. They've won 2 in a row. Dude, I'm going to have to just fucking do it. For the first time in the 2025-2026 college basketball season, I am officially locking up the Blue Demons at DePaul. Gonna fade my Friars. Now we switch this around. This is at the building. We always back the building. Looks like FanDuel has the lowest money line, 134. Because again, what do we do, team? We do not take the 1.5. Or do not lay the 1.5. We only take the 1.5. To the Big Ten, Rutgers is getting 8.5 points on the road. Excuse, that's a typo right there. They're getting 8.5 at Minnesota. 134 is the total. Plus 310 on the money line for the Scarlet Knights. I like a lot of dogs this weekend, man. I think another one is going to be here. Like, it is at the... Wait, this is... Oh, wait, I have this backwards because I'm a dumbass and don't have the slide right. Rutgers is the one getting 8.5 points. Of course, dude, the last... I don't know, man. I might go in on Rutgers. I think I have to. Like, I think year one in Minnesota has not been bad for MedVet, but they've still kind of fallen off a little bit. They are one what is that? They're 2-8 in the last 10 games. They've actually kind of gotten drilled at home a couple times, too. I mean, that loss to Maryland, what the fuck was that? They did just blow out Oregon somehow. Let's just stay away. Let's take the points with Rutgers and the Scarlet Knights, but we are not going to lock this one up. This doozy. Penn State getting 18.5 points on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska. 149.5 is the total. 14-1 for the Penn State Nittany Lions to win this game outright. Penn State just got fucking drilled at home, or on the road, at Rutgers. And now, yeah, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, they did. No, they were at home against Rutgers. My bad. I was about to say, that is a weird travel. They sent him, Big Ten sent him to Piscataway all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah, that's not right. It's such a big number. Who's Nebraska got on deck? No look ahead for Nebraska. Okay. We're going to lay it with the Cornhuskers, but no bet. Everybody knows I don't like the Big Ten anyway. So this one. Classic. What a classic Big Ten rivalry. Washington is laying 4.5 points on the road at Maryland. Now, I think they're kind of telling us something here. Like, why is Washington laying 4.5 points? Maryland's actually starting to play a little bit better since they've gotten healthy. I think Buzz Williams is a really good coach. I still think he's a really good coach. I know it's been a tough year for him. But why the hell is Washington the ones coming in here laying points? Who is Washington be laying anything? They're traveling all the way out east. No. Plus 170 on the money line. We're locking up the Terrapins. This is a win. I actually think for this one, though, I think you actually kind of want to get it in now. I think everybody else is kind of going to smell this one out. Washington's going to get fucked up tomorrow. Maybe I'll bet them against Rutgers the next time, or their next game, but dude, Maryland's winning this game. Man, Pac-12 game. It's only like they should have kept Pac-12 together, obviously. It's like, man, this is a classic of all classic Big Ten rivalries here with Oregon headed to USC. Ducks getting 5.5, 144.5 total, plus 220 on the money line for the Ducks. USC basically just take care of business, man. You're getting in the NCAA tournament. In year 2 under Eric Musselman, I don't think your team's that good by any means, but you've dropped 2 in a row. This should be a get-right spot, but they do have UCLA on deck. I don't really know if that's a look ahead, though. Like, do those two teams even care anymore? The fans don't care. It's like, I guess it's a rivalry, but these teams don't give a shit. I don't like this USC team at all. But Oregon's just been a fucking disaster, and I have almost banned myself. Like, dude, they're 2-13 in the Big Ten. This team is talented. I don't understand what is going on in Eugene. And they just been getting drilled outside of that weird one against Purdue on the road. And they're coming. Give me the Ducks plus 5.5, but I'm not getting burned by Altman again. I think he's going to ride off in the sunset. Illinois is getting laying 6.5. Points against UCLA, 145.5 total, plus 230 on the money line for the Fighting Illini. I kind of hate on the Illini. I'm 100% a hater. I don't know why I am, but there's something about this Illinois team that I just don't know if I believe in. Which is crazy because I should, because they're super talented. I think it's a lot. It could definitely be a lot of the whites. They got a ton of whites, and that could definitely 1,000% play in there. UCLA, on the other hand, got some explaining to do, Mick. He's just losing his mind in the fucking press conferences, just blah, 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 yelling at reporters. I saw he said today that he made up with the reporter asked, did you raise your voice to me? Like, dude, I don't know what the hell I don't know what's going on with Mick Cronin right now. Or the Bruins, man. I had them in the Final Four in my preseason rankings, or my preseason prediction, and it's just been a kind of a season of hell. They're 17-9, and they're like a shoe-in to be in the NCAA tournament, which I think is kind of wild. Like, I don't really know what this team has done all year to deserve that. Let's see what their best win is, because I couldn't tell you a good win. So far, well, they did beat Purdue at home. But still, it's a far travel for Purdue. Besides that, dude, they beat Washington. Like, congratulations. I don't really think this UCLA team's that good. But it's far travel for Illinois. I'm buying in one last time. One last time. Let's lock up the Bruins plus 6.5. One last time. So I'm 57 minutes in for 35 games. Well, later tonight, I got the after hours, and there's 114 games. Do the math there. There's no way I'm doing 3 hours. We're going to figure this shit out. Now, a lot of those, some of those I don't have some locks on, so we just kind of speed through them a little bit. So hopefully it'll be a little bit faster than what's going on here. Let's go to the SEC on the home stretch here. Florida laying 12.5 points on the road at Ole Miss. Ole Miss just fucking blew that game against A&M. I don't want to get away. I don't want to get in the way of this freight train that Florida's on right now. Their last, I mean, I know they've won like 6 in a row here. 7 to be exact. Won by a billion against South Carolina. By 23 at home against Bama. Won by 19 against A&M on the road. Won by 20 against Georgia on the road. Beat Kentucky by 9 on the road. Took it kind of easy. 14-point win against South Carolina. I think they're going to drill them. I really do. I think Florida's going to absolutely fucking drill them. The issue for Ole Miss, more than anything, and I've been a backer of this team a lot, they can't rebound. And you're going against the best front court in the country. Yeah, I think Florida drills them here. They control the glass. This team's getting ready to win should have a shot to go back-to-back. I really don't know what this number's going to do, though. This might be something you want to go all in on. I'd like early now because there's an actual chance for them to like. I don't know what the public is going to think and what a Sharp's going to do with this number. But I just know Florida's going to control the glass a lot. Chimulu, Congdon, Thomas Houck, somehow pronounced with the H-A-U-G-H. That's Houck. It is what it is. Yeah, I think Florida drills them here. Moving on here, let's go to South Carolina. Mississippi State is getting a 1.5 at home against, or on the road at South Carolina. 147.5 total, plus 105 for Chris Jans and the Bulldogs. I've been on the Bulldogs the last few weeks, man. They've covered back-to-back games. They've won back-to-back games. I can't remember what Josh Hubbard had against Auburn. Let's see here. Dude could not miss. He was 9 of 12 in the first half. 46 points on 10 of 16 from beyond the arc. Now, are we worried a little bit that he used all of his shots? I don't know. But South Carolina is an absolute fucking dumpster fire. I know my buddy JR likes South Carolina because of Eli Ellis, but they are awful. They haven't won a game in SEC play since January 20th, and that was home against Oklahoma, who's at the bottom of it. But I think Jans and them have kind of figured it out a little bit, and I actually think this team's not bad by any means. They have talent. Josh Hubbard's a really good player. They've had the same guys there for the last, 3 years that Jans has been there. This team isn't bad. I'm going to lock up the Bulldogs here. I think they continue the momentum, and they're peaking at the right time here. They could be a frisky team in the SEC tournament. Let's go Chris Jans and the Bulldogs. Next up here, we have no Tennessee rival here. Tennessee is headed to Vanderbilt to take on the Commodores. Vanderbilt, who are actually kind of are they running the state this year? Diego Pavia and the football team, baseball team is always dominant. And now, I mean, what are they this year? They are 5 losses, 21-5. Now, this did open at 3.5. Has already dropped down to 2.5. And I actually kind of like where the line movement is headed because Vanderbilt, after the Duke Miles injury and the injury to Frankie Collins, they've kind of came back to earth after, starting off 16-0. They dropped 3 in a row. Miles comes back. He's been in and out of the lineup. Frankie Collins already obviously went down. He's probably done for the year. They just lost that weird one to Missouri the other night. Tennessee, on the other hand, has been just fine going on the road and getting wins outside of the one they just completely blew against Kentucky. Looks like I think it's a dog weekend. I think it's a dog weekend. And I think Tennessee reminds, Vanderbilt, like, we run this conference. This is Rick Barnes. This is Rick Barnes State. Binghamton, your time will come. It's just here. It's not here now. I think Tennessee rolls here, gets this done outright, but we will take the plus 2.5 to cover ourselves. Let's go, Volunteers. There is 3.5 still. So he's getting bet back up. There are 3.5 out there right now. Let's move along here to Texas is getting 1.5 on the road at Georgia, plus 114 on the money line for the Longhorns. I like having the totals in here because Connor's a totals guy. I think I'm done saying totals because I don't give a shit because I don't bet the total. I have not bet a college basketball total in years, probably 6-7 years. Never will be a totals guy. Don't understand. I just can never get them right. Way better at doing spreads, sides, money lines. Gonna stick with that. I will dabble in a little bit of team total. Like there was a time for probably the last 2 or 3 weeks that Utah, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Utah's team totals were getting in like the high 60s, and it was a little incredible, especially when they were going up against teams like Houston. They were scoring in like the 40s, like they were cashing with ease. But I'm a sides guy. I'm gonna always be a sides guy. Texas, man, 5 straight. I think they solidify themselves in the NCAA tournament. On the flip side, Georgia's going the complete other way. They get that road win. Weirdly enough, at Kentucky, I completely forgot about that one on Tuesday. That was a loaded Tuesday, though. I think I'm going to continue. I've been doing it all year, and I continue to do it. And sometimes you can get a 2 out there, actually. I like the way that Sean Miller has kind of turned this team around, and I actually think they're playing some of their best basketball right now. Dalen Swain's playing really well. The front court's coming in and playing hard, and they're defending like crazy, and they're making their shots right now. And I love Weaver and his like terrible receding hairline, but I love the way he rocks it. My hair's going back. My hair's going back too. It's like, you want to hear a joke that'll really kill with 60-year-old men because they hear it all the time. Yeah, my hair's growing back, way back. Like, yeah, you told me that for the 500th time, Charlie, or Jerry, or whatever the fuck you want to say, whatever 65-year-old name is, but they do that kills. But we're gonna lock up the Longhorns here. Horns up, baby. We gotta keep riding the train, dude. We basically jumped on the Texas train on this 5-game win streak and hitting every time. I really do think here Texas could be a fringe Elite 8 team that nobody's talking about. Granted, Sean Miller in the tournament, something that I do not love, but I do love Texas basketball, man. Old Big 12 rivalry here. Arkansas is laying 10.5 against Missouri. I really want Arkansas. I think Arkansas wins this game regardless. And I really need them to because I need Missouri to get the fuck out of the NCAA tournament. They've quietly won 4 of 5. And when I mean quiet, I mean quietly because I actually kind of thought they were struggling. But, they didn't play anybody really worth a shit. But that was a huge win on the road or at home against Vanderbilt. Like, they're probably getting in the tournament out, which sucks. If they can just beat Mississippi State, beat Oklahoma, and pick off one of Arkansas at home, Arkansas on the road, and then Tennessee at home, like, they're probably getting in. I like Dennis Gates, but I really don't love this Missouri team. I don't think they're very good. I think you'd be way better off getting another Big 12 team in there, but it is what it is. Flip side, Arkansas just came off double overtime or triple overtime, and probably the game of the season against Alabama. Darius Cuff, man, he is a stud. He is an absolute stud. They're coming off that loss against Bama. 10.5 just seems steep. I think Missouri fights in this one, keeps this one close, but no bet on this one have been burned too much. Hold up, we're gonna bring it back here real quick. Arkansas really hasn't been able to pull away in a lot of these home games. Like, yeah, they did. They eventually did against Auburn, but the number was weird because Keyshawn Hall was announced out before the game. LSU, they played with their food a little bit. They did get up for that Vanderbilt game. Now, I'm gonna cast back out here. We're gonna no lock, stay away from this one. Alabama's laying 5.5 points on the road at LSU. Plus 215 on the money line for the LSU Tigers in The Walking Dead with my Matt McMahon. He is on his way out, 1,000%. I want to bet LSU so bad, but that number, I was thinking I was going to at least get like a 7.5, and if I wait, you might. If it gets to the 7.5, I will lock up the Tigers. Alabama, again, just came off that double overtime thriller, and, I mean, you got to have a little bit of tired legs, right? That was a fast-paced, up-and-down kind of basketball game. There is no real look ahead for Alabama either, so it's going to be tough to lock that one up, so we're going to stay away from it, but I will take the points with the Tigers. If it gets to 7.5, 8, I think I'm going in. Texas A&M laying 1.5 on the road at Oklahoma. Dude, great comeback against Mississippi the other night, but I think Texas A&M's not good. I think he has a phony-ass record. I love Bucky McMillan. I think he's the right guy for the job. I love his style. I just don't really. I think that magic that they had earlier in the year when they were 7-1 in first place in the SEC. They dropped 4 in a row, and then before that comeback against Mississippi. I think his team's just a little broken. And a little bit of a look ahead too, because they do have Arkansas on deck and like the Jerry Jones. It's not football, but like it's an old little bit of a rivalry there too. Dude, there's not a lot of spots here for Oklahoma to get a win here. I think they're what now? 3-10 in the SEC. Like, there's not a lot of winning spots here, but I think there's one of them. I'm going to go in on the Sooners here. I'm going to take the 1.5 Porter Moser in the Sooners. Still think it's a dead man walk. I think he gets it done. One game left on the board for this show. Then we got another one coming later. So Kentucky is getting 2.5 points on the road at Auburn, plus 130 on the money line for the Wildcats. I guarantee there's a 3.5 out there if you want it. There is a 3.5 out there on the Cats. Auburn just got worked by Mississippi State, but I do think that was a little bit. Josh Hubbard kind of just went nuclear. This is kind of I don't want to call it I don't really have a good name for it. Like, Auburn's just lost 5 in a row, and especially the way they lost. Like, this has to be a get-up for the Tigers. I think it is. Kentucky kind of fat and happy. I mean, they did just lose the other night, but they've been playing a lot better. Auburn struggling, back against the wall, need to make the tournament, need a win to solidify that resume. I think Pearl gets them up, and they win this game by 5. Let's go Tigers. It's a good spot. It's a really good spot to catch. Well, that'll conclude the show that I somehow made longer than we normally do when it's just me here then versus want to have Connor. Hope he's safe down there. Hope everybody's bets go well this weekend. Slate's really good. A lot of really good games. Ton of good games. Yeah, I will be back later tonight for the After Hours. I don't know if anybody knew this, but that show was live on YouTube. I was trying to test it out, make sure it was actually working well. Seemed to be okay with not a lot of hiccups, so I'm figuring this stuff out. Good luck to everybody this weekend. I'll see you guys